I found this piece of paper when I was rummaging through my drawer. This is a piece of paper I wrote when I was 16 years old as a student about socialism, communism, and capitalism. And I just took it up and I rewrote the little thing because I wanted to tell you this story because it gives us a strong message. The story is about the modern little red hen. Once upon a time, there was this little red hen which lived in a farm, and it was scratching around in the barnyard when it found some grains of wheat. And it called out to the neighbors and said, "If we plant this wheat, we will have bread to eat. Who will help me plant it?" "Not I," said the cow. "Not I," said the pig. And "not I," said the duck. And "not I," said the goose. "Then I will," said the little red hen, and she planted the grains of wheat. This wheat grew and opened into golden grain. Now again she asked, the little red hen asked, "Who will help me reap my grain?" "Not I," said the duck. "Not in my classification," said the pig. "I'll lose my seniority," said the cow. "And I'll lose my unemployment compensation," said the goose. "Then I will," said the little red hen, and she reaped the grain. At last it was time to bake the bread. And she asked again, "Who will help me bake the bread?" And everybody, as usual, "That will be overtime for me," said the cow. "I'll lose my welfare benefits," said the duck. "I am a dropout and I have never learned," said the pig. "Well, if I am to be the only helper, that is discrimination," said the goose. "Then I will," said the little red hen. And she baked 5 loaves of bread and held it up. Now when they all saw the bread, they all wanted a part of the bread. In fact, they demanded that the bread should be shared. But the little red hen said, "No, I bake the bread. I work for it. I eat it myself." Then what did the neighbors do? "Excess profits," yelled the cow. "Capitalist leech," cried the duck. "I demand equal rights," shouted the pig. And the goose just screamed out. Then they hurriedly painted unfair picket signs and marched around shouting obscenities. I want to give you the message that we believe in equality, in social justice, but it is crony capitalism that we will not tolerate. There will be zero tolerance, as my friend Iran said, as Harsha said. For entrepreneurship, we will support the local domestic entrepreneurs. For those who are working hard to be globally competitive, to build a domestic industry that's strong, that can face up to competition the world over. Like the little red hen, for those who are entrepreneurs, the opportunity, what the government can do for you is what we'll stand up for. Economists in Sri Lanka refer to 2004 as the trigger point at where our crisis started. Why do they say this? Because in 2004, there was a JVP Rajapaksa alliance government formed. And what happened? Next slide, please. In 2001 to 2004, that period, there was a government which understood that we had to make some structural changes. We had to go for some massive reforms. And those proposals were made to reform the public sector, the CEB, the CPC, also restructure inland revenue, which we are still talking about, the customs and SOE reforms. That was in 2001, 2002. However, that was blocked by the JVP. They got together with the Rajapaksa government, toppled that government, started a hate campaign. They talked about various things and anti-market reforms, and then they stopped the whole process. As a result, what happened was the JVP Leftist Alliance government was formed. And between 2004 and 2015, if you take the SOEs, the losses of the SOEs came up to nearly 1 trillion. So you can imagine what happened. And also if you take the public service, actually between 1994 and 2004, there was an attempt to reduce the number of people in the public service. It came down. But again, from 2004 to 2014, the number of people in the public service went up. These all are reasons why we have got into this position. We need to understand why and who is responsible for this. If you look at the result, what happened? with the JVP Rajapaksa alliance, with the leftist alliance, when we ended up, when you look at our public debt figures, for 56 years, from 1948 to and up to 2004, that was 56 years, our public debt was rupees 1,996 billion. However, from 2004 to 2014, within 10 years, it goes up by 500% to 9,953 billion rupees. So look at, it's scary when you look at those numbers. Our exports come down from 32% to 12%, and it drops even further. And our government revenue drops from 22% to 10%. Now it's even below that, So these, actually, if you look at it, you understand the Hatta Hatare Sapya, where it lies and who's responsible. This country could have made the change. We were one of the first in Asia to make the change to look at an export-led economy. We were the one to start the free market economy. But because of leftist protests and policies, Sri Lanka could never get ahead.